Hi, I'm Tom Graham.
And I'm Gil Gowing.
And we're both Icon specialists. And we're here to take you on an in-depth tour of mixing with the Icon D-Control.
We're going to start with the basic layout of the console, show you a ton of functionality, and then we're going to get into some of the more unique features that only Icon can offer.
Now, this video series assumes that you have a basic knowledge of Pro Tools in general and mixing workflow terminology. So let's get started.
Okay.
Now we're going to take a look at the basic building blocks of a D-Control. In this case, we have a 32, so we have two fader modules, which are 16 faders apiece, and a main section.
The fader section is 16 faders wide, and a D-Control can be built as a minimum of 16 faders all the way out to 80 faders.
Okay, how do we enable those modules?
So each module has an Ethernet connector that then talks back to the host computer. The modules are then enabled in the Pro Tools software and connected via the peripherals dialog box.
So let's enable that now. So with Pro Tools, we're going to go into the Setup menu and choose Peripherals. Gil hits Enable, and that goes out and actually scans for the modules. Now, if these modules aren't of the current firmware version, for instance, if it's a new version of Pro Tools, it will prompt you to automatically update the firmware. And within minutes, you have the latest version of the console.
From there, we go into each one of the sections and choose one of the modules, and it's very important to put these in the correct order.
Okay, so in this case, we've got a 32 fader. We choose fader 1, the main, and then fader 2.
We hit OK, and the console then is now communicating with Pro Tools and comes online.
Excellent. So on the fader units themselves, they are comprised of 16 channel strips. So the terminology we're going to be using is channel strip for the individual channels, which contains PNG faders, all of your solo select and mute and your automation controls, and your 6 touch-sensitive rotary encoders.
In the main section, on either side, we have what we call the channel strip master section, which are master controls that control the top level of the console.
Global elements, right?
Right.
And right next to that, we have what's termed as the focus strip or focus channel. And that comprises not only 6 touch-sensitive encoders, which is a duplicate of the regular channel strip, but it has a dedicated dynamics, EQ, and surround panner. Why don't you tell them about the panner, Gil?
The panner can either be operated by either one of the 2 touch-sensitive joysticks, or you can actually just use the touchscreen with your finger.
Cool. Above that, we have the XMON control center here, and this is controlling all of your analog monitoring for your speakers, your input selectors, your talkbacks, your listen-back mics, and your cue system.
We'll move down, we have a transport section that controls the transporter control of Pro Tools or your attached 9-pin machines, as well as accessing other transport controls. And next to that, we have a USB built-in keyboard and trackball.
Cool. Above that, in this section, we want to point out the soft key section. This is a part of your major area of control for all your operation preferences, your automation preferences, and many customizable user key commands that you'd like to do.
You can also gain access to a lot of your Pro Tools menus from this section as well.
Great.